Hello everybody, my name is Ethan, and welcome to the first video on my channel, probably. I'm actually not sure. This is likely going to be the first idea. I'm recording the audio for this right now. This is a time-lapse of my drawing that I did. It's called, I gave it a name, I called it Mind Prison. Kinda self-explanatory as to what's going on. As the picture forms, you'll see why. But I'm starting this new channel up because I really love art, and I wanted to start making YouTube videos because I've done gaming channels in the past, but haven't been too attached to the idea. But this channel, I really, I just love doing art, and I think this is a great thing to do. It's going to be a lot of fun for me, and I feel like it'll be very entertaining for you guys. So the idea of this channel is that whenever I have an idea for art, I'll do a speed drawing, and if it turns out to be good, I'll upload it to the channel with a time-lapse, some music in the background, This is a new desktop background. I needed a new one since I had to reset my computer, I had to make a new administrator account on my computer because my tablet drivers weren't working. It was a whole hassle. It took over a year to fix them, not even gonna lie. Anyway. It took over a year to fix my tablet drivers, mostly because I didn't really care enough to invest myself in actually fixing them. But I guess the real thing is that they were broken for over a year. It didn't really take a year to fix them. So, back on topic, the theme of this channel is that I'm going to draw whenever I well please, and I will record it and upload it to this channel. The name, I'm probably going to go with SNoCaP. Well, actually, I guess it's not really a big deal because it will have been chosen by the time you're seeing this video. But I, at this current moment, don't know what the channel title's going to be. But whatever, go with the flow. Anyway, what's going on here is that I am drawing, I'm currently drawing the character in this drawing, I guess, to give it a little bit of relatability to the viewer. But what I'm doing is sketching. I'm sure most people who do art or have ever used Paint Tool Sci or whatever know what I'm doing. But for those of you who don't, basically what I'm doing is I'm using a low opacity brush to basically give the general form of what I want, and I'll end up going over that with a full opacity brush to create a thicker outline that shows exactly what I'm going for. That'll be in the final product. So I guess I can talk about this picture. It looks like a super dark, scary picture, and I guess it is technically, but that's not really the way I intended it. I literally just was like, hey, I need a new desktop background. What's a cool thing I could do? And this just came to my mind, but because it's got a picture of a brain. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted a new desktop background. I thought this was like a powerful image because, I don't know, I guess sometimes, your mind can be trapping and it's not fun, but that's kind of what I wanted to illustrate in this situation. So yeah, I've just begun work on the outline process, and that, as I explained before, is to create like the actual outline of the object that I'm going to show. It's going to be in the final product, and it's just it's based on the sketch. So I take what I sketch. I'm sure most of you can infer this from just looking at it, but basically I took the sketch, I drew over it because I used the sketch as a general guideline to create, my final vision. And so that's what's going on right now. I'm sketching it. In a second, after I finish this, the outline of this brain part, I can show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to start working on the cerebellum of the brain. And so I really shouldn't know the term of that. I guess I should, but I never really paid attention in my 7th grade bio class. So yeah, I'm drawing the cerebellum right now, And at first I drew it like the rest of the brain, but then I looked up an actual image and was like, oh, it's actually not at all like the rest of the brain. So I redrew it. Just, yeah, that's just kind of an example of me actually contradicting my outline. Yeah, so I've started work on the chords on top. The chords look like they have symbolism, but again, this really isn't really too focused on the symbolism of the drawing. It's just what I felt like drawing at the time. The chords, it's kind of weird how I decided to put them in. I was at first thinking about how the light in the brain would be powered, and I was like, maybe I should have a wire connected to the brain. And then I was like, wait, that would be a cool idea to have like plugs going into it. So yeah, now there's plugs going into the brain. They're not powering the light, because if you can look at this green one, that is actually an audio jack. At least it was supposed to be. Oh, I accidentally just opened OBS, and so that created kind of like a paradox of the screen. I've done that a couple of times. I edited out most of them, but that one, I don't know. That's kind of what happens when I open OBS. It shows what's on my screen, in the screen, and then it shows that in that screen, and it just creates an infinite tunnel. But yeah, so there's really no meaning for the chords in his head, or in, I guess this is my head, I don't know. For the chords in the head, it just was like, you know, kind of a cool thing to add. So I feel like I've explained enough, at least for now, so I'll just play some music and I'll jump back when I feel necessary. Okay, so this part looks a little bit weird. What I was doing is I got all the layers mixed up, and what layer should be on top of which, I got them all mixed up. And so this is where I sorted them into layer groupings, and so that's why they flashed really quickly on the screen and then disappeared. It was just a kind of a mistake on my part, so I had to hide them and show them to find out which layers were which. So that's why that happened. Okay, so I've started filling in the outlines. The way I do this, sure most people who are artists, or, well, I guess I shouldn't really consider myself an artist just yet, but I'm sure most people who know how to use Psy will know this, but I put a layer below the lines, and I fill in all in between the lines on that layer, and this allows it so that as long as the fill in doesn't go too far outside of the outline, it won't show up at all outside of it, which is good. So it makes it look clean and defined, you know? I ended up using an outline color and fill color that were like a darker version of each other. Sometimes I'll just use black as the outline for everything, but in this situation I used a darker outline. I had no real reason for it. I just thought it was it just looked better that way. So right here I just began the shading process. I've messed up a couple times by using a low opacity brush, which when it goes over itself it will create sort of like a double darkness opacity. So what I ended up doing was creating a layer group and changing the opacity of that group in order to... Oh my god, my monitor just turned off. What the hell? In order to create a good shading that was all the same darkness and opacity. So yeah, I put the shading layer above the color layer, but below the outline, also so that it would be confined to the outline, but it would go above the color. So I've begun the process of lighting. Basically works the same way as I worked with the shadows, except instead of using a darker version of the color, I used a brighter version of the color. And in some scenarios I would use completely white, and I would put it at a lower opacity, 30% I believe, and it just works the same way as the shadow layer works. You know, just they're basically the same thing, just a darker or lighter color on top of the original. So yeah. So the piece is coming to a conclusion now. I basically just wanted to add a light in the background. Here's the final product. I think it looks pretty dope, and it definitely works well as my screensaver for my desktop. So if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. Again, I don't want to have a specific upload schedule, but I'll upload whenever I draw, really. There's going to be some more videos coming, a video of a time-lapse of me drawing my logo and banner, and if you want to download this picture, because I really liked it, and if you want to use it too, it'll be in the description. So yeah, leave a like on this video, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.